Welcome to the podcast. We are going to get into it. I am Josh Altab, one of your hosts, and this is Jake Grant, and we are excited that you're here. We're excited to be here. We're going to get in today to honestly what we think is the number one thing that is killing and sabotaging your business's growth, productivity, and honestly just overall profitability. So you ready?
Yeah. What is that one thing? This seems like a powerful one thing. What could
It
this
is a
possibly
powerful
be?
one thing. Honestly, I think it all has to do with hiring. I think what we are seeing businesses struggle with, why they are sabotaging their business faster than anything, is because they have the wrong team players in. They're either bringing them in incorrectly or they're not getting them out fast enough. Now, that might seem like, whoa, you don't care about people, or maybe you just want to da-da-da-da. No, it's like, it's actually because we care about people so much. Why would we want to do a disservice to a sales professional, an employee, a team member, whatever you're calling them? Why would we want to do a disservice to them and put them in the wrong spot? Put them on the wrong seat. If you got somebody who's amazing, super fast, and can catch any fly ball in the outfield that could come to them, but they couldn't pitch to save their life, why would you put them
You wouldn't have them on the team.
You would put them on the mound. You'd be losing money. More importantly, you'd be losing games, which would affect you making money as a professional baseball team, right?
So you think the number one thing that is sabotaging businesses' growth and their revenue is having the wrong people on the team?
Yeah.
You're going to stand by that.
I really do. I am going to stand by that. I mean, I think there are multiple things that we could look at, but in the regards to when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to hiring, I believe that businesses are hurting themselves before they ever even get a shot. Okay. So if, let me ask you this. What are the most common hiring mistakes that you're seeing business owners do right now that are affecting their profitability, they're affecting their growth, they're affecting their culture? What do you think?
Specifically when it comes to hiring.
Yep.
Right.
Specifically.
Number one, having a system in place to find the right talent, to find them, vet them, and get them plugged into the system. Number two is actually having an onboarding system in place to get that person up to speed. And then number three is having metrics and KPIs for them to hit to know if they should stay on the team. So finding the right people, vetting those people, training those people, and then having metrics that allows you to know if those people should stay on the team. I think if you can dial those three things in, and we've done this with a handful of companies that we're working with right now. In fact, we were joking about it the other day. I think just about every company we work with, we end up getting rid of, not on purpose, their team members and replacing them with new ones.
And I want to say, because the businesses hire us, it does fall to us as leadership to do that. But I do not believe that we are getting rid of those people.
No. So actually, let's start here. So I mentioned three things. Number one is finding those people, vetting them, training them, and then KPIs that hold them accountable and allow them to stay on the team. Let's actually start with number three, because it's top of mind for me, is what do we typically put in place that allows people to weed themselves out or leave the organization? Because we're dealing with this right now.
Yeah. I think that we start when the business owner comes to us and they say, hey, we're at X number of revenue and we want to grow to X number of revenue. Can you help me get there? And a lot of times for us, what we are seeing is they're like, well, fix this script, or can you fix this funnel, or can you do this? And it's like, yes, we can do those things, but let's maybe take a step back. What's your actual culture like? A client that we just brought on, even this week, it was one of those, well, can you help me? How are we going to communicate this to my current team? And I'm like, that's actually a phenomenal question, because how you set this up as a leader, I mean, because the job of that business owner is to cast vision, to do things that only that business owner can do. They should be focused on the things that we're solving for them. But what I do need you to do as a business owner is cast that vision of what we're going to do. Because when we establish culture first, that allows everything else to fall in alignment. Because what we're saying is, here is how this business is going to operate, right? So we onboard the client, and we say, okay, what do you want your business to look like? Where are you at? Where do you want to be? What do you want it to look like in 6 months, 12 months, and 5 years from now? Are you trying to sell this business? Are you just trying to cash flow this business? Tell us what you want. Once we have that, it allows us to establish a process and a procedure, and then allows us to say, here are the parameters as a business for this business that we're going to operate in. Anything outside of that is not going to get us to where we want to be, right? I love this quote. Your long-term goals govern your short-term decisions. Someone taught me that in 2003, and it has stuck with me ever since. So for us, we are trying to say, what are your long-term goals as a business? Now, every decision that we make is going to guide us towards that. Now, when you look at culture and that somebody says, well, I don't want to make, 100 dials a day. Okay. You don't have to. Now, but for you to be here in this culture and in this place, you're going to have to make at least that, or you're going to have to hit your KPIs, whatever they are. And then when they say, well, I don't want to do that. Well, then that means that you're telling me you don't want to work here, because to work here, we're going to operate under these KPIs. To work here, we're going to operate under these parameters. That's why I said, I don't think we fire anybody. They choose to leave or they choose to stay because they are saying, I choose to align myself with this culture, or I choose not to align myself with this culture. I'm okay either way. I just want that person to be happy. I want that sales pro to be in a place where they can be. Now, the problem is, most of the time, when they are choosing not to align with it, more times it's not because they're choosing not to align to work, to be the best version of themselves. Would you agree or disagree with that?
We just had, with one of our clients, I think for our business, and we've only been in business for 2 years, so, we're still young, but I think for our business, it was a record time or a record in someone leaving, where we came into the business, met with the salesperson and said, hey, moving forward, here's your numbers. Here's what you got to hold yourself to. And like 2 days later, he, without even putting effort in, without even trying. A lot of times what happens, here's typically what happens. We come in, say, hey, here's your new KPIs. Here's what you have to hit every day. And they'll at least, try for a week. This guy didn't even try. He was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
I mean, he didn't even get to the plate to take a swing. He was like, no, I'm not doing this. It's like, but what's funny is that same guy also said before we got brought in, he goes, yeah, I'm super nervous. I think they're going to, expose what's really going on. He said something of that nature.
Yeah. So we talked with the business owner, and this business owner, it's a smaller business. They have one or two reps on their team, one rep on their team right now. So it's a very small organization. And when the business owner brought us,
small organization for us is someone doing between $300,000 to $400,000 a month,
which this guy's at right now with one person, which is great. We just helping him scale that up. And we came on, business owner said, yeah, so-and-so told me he's worried that you guys are gonna fire him. And we're like, oh, we're not gonna fire anyone. We just came in and said, hey, we're making some changes. You need to do this. And he said, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. This kind of leads me to my question. How can business owners identify if they are or are not making those mistakes with hiring?
Specifically with like setting easy way to do it in my mind is like actually setting metrics and KPIs for their team to hit, like bare minimum, KPIs. And then like the way that here's how we do it.
I want to re-ask the question because I think you're trying to get there, and it's probably because of how I asked the question. What's the number one thing a business owner could do today to find out and get a pulse on their team members to see if they're a culture fit or not?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here's what you want to do is you want to have what we call projections and reflections. In my mind, that's the easiest way. Projection simply is you have your sales team members report every single day. Here's what I'm going to do. And those metrics might be different for every business. Here's the dials I'm going to make. Here's the deals I'm going to close. Here's what I'm telling you. I'm going to do this today. Reflection simply is here's what I actually did. I said I was going to close one deal. I closed 2 or I closed 0. And having those checks and balances every single day. Big mistake that business owners make is they check things weekly, or worse, they check it monthly. They get to the end of their month, they're like, man, we didn't close as many deals. I wonder why. One of our clients that we had last year, they were an agency. They went from closing like 2 deals a month to closing 10 to 12 deals a month. Only thing that we changed is we said, hey, why don't you, 1, meet with your team every day? So you can see where they're at, ask them about their numbers. And then every single week, just post pending deals, right? For the whole team. Beginning of the week, here's the deals that we have in the pipeline. Here's who's supposed to close this week. Here's who we're still waiting on contracts from. Just by doing that and having those checks and balances with the team, they were able to identify easily, oh man, we need to push these deals forward. The sales team needs help with these deals, instead of getting to the end of the month and being like, man, revenue's down. I wonder why.
You are killing your business if you do not have systems and procedures and processes in place to track and account for that which you are wanting to happen. I almost said hoping to happen, because that's actually what business owners are doing. They are hoping that, well, I hope the sales team hits their numbers. How well is that working out for you? Well, it's all right. We're kind of doing this. It's like, okay, now let me ask you, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, where are you at? Well, I'm at, $500,000 a month in revenue, and we're at 40% profit margins. Okay, great. Where do you want to be? Round numbers. I want to be at $1 million. Great. What is your game plan to get there? More sales. I need the team to close more. I talked to a guy, and when we were bringing on a client, and he said, yeah, I need you to help my sales guy increase his closing percent by 5%. Okay, sure. Why? Well, I want to get to this goal. Do you know how to get to that goal? No. All right. Well, let's do some math here. You're at here. And if this person is doing this amount of work per day, this production, if they nail it perfectly, I'm talking, let's just say 90% compliance, and they do X amount of appointments per week, close at X amount percent. If they increase the 5% that you want, you know that you'll actually fall short of the goal that you're shooting for. So do you actually want your sales pro to get 5% better, or do you want to hit this goal? Oh, I want to hit that goal. Now, are you open to a new way of looking at this to solve this real problem? You see what I'm saying? Most business owners are like, oh, this is our problem. This is our problem. I'm like, oh, no, it's not. That is your symptom. Can we get to the root of the problem, address the root of the problem by looking at how, okay, let's bring it back to hiring. The root of the problem is salespeople interview really awesome for the most part. That's actually the root of the problem. And the problem with that is that most business owners don't realize that. So they don't really know, well, how do I know if this person is just really good at sales and selling themselves to me, or they actually can do what they say they can do? That is why I love our recruiting process, right? The way that we do it, the fact that we have a 3-step process, we're going to have a quick interview. We're going to understand who you are, why you're looking, why you're possibly looking at transitioning. And then we'll even know if we should have a longer call. And then on that longer call, I love how we have it set up. I love that we come in. I don't look at your notes. You don't look at my notes, because I don't want to know what you thought about, or vice versa, right? Whoever did the first or second interview. I don't want to know what you thought about the candidate. I want to know after I interview. And then we can combine our notes and be like, okay, where are we in alignment? Now, should we have that third interview with the actual business owner? Right? Because I think our process is set up to really uncover, where's that candidate at? Is this candidate just job hopping? Or is this candidate in a bad situation and they're actually a diamond in the rough? And if we, pull them from that bad situation, they're going to flourish in this healthy culture. Yeah. And it's but it's not because we're the world's greatest interviewers. No, it's because we have a process that works, and we repeat the process time and time and time again. So I want to ask you a question. I want to get to the first thing, the process.
The process for hiring.
The process for hiring. What is something a business owner could do today to set their recruiting system up better?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would do is actually have a process in place, and you can literally copy what we do. As you were saying, we have technically a 4-step process.
Yeah, actually it is.
It's a 4-step process. The first part of the process is we have them submit an application, and we have them shoot a video. So they answer some questions. It's your basic, applications. What are you looking for? Where have you worked at in the past? Talk to me about your experience. Have you taken personality tests? There's a handful of questions in there. And then we have them shoot a Loom video. We use Loom, but we have them send us a video answering 1 to 2 questions on that video. Specifically, what we're looking for in that video is a couple things. And if you're a sales pro watching this, you're interviewing for one of our companies, you're just going to get the cheat code right now. So you might slip through the cracks. In the video, we want to hear your tonality, your cadence. Really, how does this person sound? How do they present themselves?
How do they sound answering a question?
Yes.
What part about sales will they not have to answer a question?
Yeah.
Even if they've got to answer a question and then by asking a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is so important to the business owner. I want to make sure we don't skip over that.
100%. So we want to hear how they sound. We also, a couple of things that we're looking for as well is like just their level of professionalism. Are you filming this video like this? Where are you in a car? What is your, not that I would say that doesn't have as much weight, but we are looking at that. What is your environment around you? You know, do you have, not that it matters every time for us, but like, do you have a legit setup? Like, is there good lighting? Does it look like you're hiding in a closet somewhere?
And if you are hiding in a closet, but you sound amazing, now that tells me, oh, this person's probably...
They have potential.
They have potential, or better yet, they could be just relentless. Maybe that closet is all they got right now for a quiet space. Great, I don't care. But if you sound and you present yourself and your environment isn't ideal, but you are doing the best you can in your environment, we'll be able to tell, all right, let's at least have another call.
Absolutely. And then in that first part of the process, the other reason that we have them film a video is we want to see, can you follow instructions? Like, can you actually, when we say, hey, fill out this application, how many times do people submit applications and there's no video in there? Or there's, I can't count, it's probably been 100 times that we've gotten an application and they just send us we have clear instructions that says, go to Loom, you can create a free account and film a video on here. Now, there are apps out there that could make it a lot easier for them, where they just pull their phone out and they can answer like right in there's an app called Video Ask you could use. I like having them go to a website and saying, hey, create this account, go here, film this video.
Why do you like it?
I like it because, one, your ability to follow instructions, and for me as well, not that it matters as much, but I want to see how technical, tech savvy you are, especially in this day and age. It's something that's super important. So if you can't figure out how to go to a website, like 90% of our applicants can do this and shoot a Loom video. To me, it's a little bit of a red flag, because when I get you in our CRM and our calling software, what other problems are you going to deal with?
Think about the amount of tech as a sales pro. For the businesses that we work with, there is a lot of tech involved. There is Slack. There could be Asana or ClickUp. There could be Zoom. There could be Google Meets. I mean, there are so many tech. Then you got the CRM. Most of our clients are HubSpot, right? And we love HubSpot. And so now you've got HubSpot. Now you've got all these other things where it's like, if you can't record a basic Loom video, how are you going to be able to do all this? Well, you should be able to train me. Maybe.
To a certain point, but there's also a lot of other people out there that I would rather spend my time training, and I don't have to worry about teaching you how to think and navigate every aspect of the CRM.
We train probably more than any other fractional sales training company that I know with our clients. I bet you, I would almost put money on it, that we train our team and we are more intentional of them getting the tools that they need. We live and breathe by stay sharp, which means to always sharpen your axe. So it's not that we're against training, but it's like, if you can't do the basics, and in this role, I need you to actually be at this level, I'm setting you up to lose. Yeah. And better yet, let's say you are struggling with tech, then you better come so correct on that video that you just sound it. And it's like, okay, great. You've got all of these, intangibles, or you've got all these attributes over here. I'll figure out the tech side. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's what we're on the video side of things. We're looking for is, how do you sound? What is your in some type of insight into your environment, and then your ability to follow very simple instructions. If I give you the instructions to go to the site, create a free account, shoot a video, are you able to do that? Are you savvy enough to figure out this very simple task? So that's the first step. After that, we go through, we'll watch the videos, then we'll schedule a first interview. First interview, super simple, 15 minutes. It's a phone interview. We call them up, we talk to them for a little bit. Really what we're looking at is we are looking at their skill set and their experience. What have you done in the past? What are you currently doing right now? And one of the questions I actually love to ask is, where else are you interviewing at? The reason, it sounds like a very simple question, but the reason I like to ask that is if I get the answer, yeah, I'm applying to, a marketing position and I'm applying
graphic design position.
I'm like, okay, so you are just trying to work with anyone and everyone that's going to give you a paycheck.
Which
right
for some roles, that's okay. There are some roles where, hey, that might work for you. But if we are trying to hire primarily sales professionals for businesses so that they can make more money and actually grow and scale their businesses, then I can't have some graphic designer that wants to figure out a way. It's like, well, maybe I can get into sales. Because then the moment that a real job that you're looking for, and I keep saying graphic design, let's say it's that, you're going to bounce and go do that. I need people who actually want to have a career or for the next foreseeable future, have a career in sales to some degree. And remember that girl, that girl I interviewed, and I said, "Where else are you interviewing at?" And she was like, "That's none of your business." And I was
she hung up on you.
Yo, she got so mad. I was like, "Well, actually, it is." And if you're open to it, I'll explain what I mean by that. I clearly explained what I meant by that, and I said, "Okay, here's what I mean. Here's what happened," and it just lit her up so bad. She's like, "I don't have to tell you." And I was like, "You're right. Actually, you don't have to tell me. Best of luck to you." Like, if asking you where else you're interviewing at triggers you, I hate to break it to you, that's on you. You're going to want to figure that out. That should not trigger you. You should actually be bold. I'm actually interviewing here. Or if you're not interviewing anywhere else, then come correct and be like, I'm not interviewing anywhere else right now because I don't need something, but I really like this opportunity. There's something about this opportunity that I can really see myself in the future. So right now, this is my primary focus. I'll take that all day long. Okay, great. Let's have a further conversation.
Yeah. So we want to look, that simple question is ideally a good answer is they tell me, yeah, I'm applying at this sales position, this sales position, this sales position. I want to make sure that they're looking at other sales positions. Asking them simply, what have you done in the past sales wise? What are you currently doing? When they tell me about past sales positions, one of the questions I like to ask is, walk me through what that sales process was like. Because I want to know what type of sales they've done in the past, right? If they say, oh, I was cold calling leads, I was door knocking, I was getting a bunch of inbound leads and consults from people, I want to get some insight into their experience with past sales processes. And then at the last question I ask is, what questions do you have for me? I'm sure you have a couple questions about the role. And what I want them to do is I want to kind of gauge how good they are at asking questions. If they're asking me a lot at and I won't tell them everything that's included in the role or what it all entails unless they ask it. I'm not saying here's what we're hiring for, here's what we're looking for, but I want to know how good they are at asking questions. And then at the end of it, the question I always like to ask, and I did this yesterday on an interview, is, does everything that I mentioned, this company and our mission and vision and everything, does this seem like something that you want to be a part of? And give them the opportunity to say, yeah, this sounds awesome. Yesterday, there was a guy I talked to, and I knew what his answer was going to be within the first 2 minutes of the interview. Still went through the process, asked him at the end, is this something that you feel like is what you're looking for and aligns with, what you want? And he was like, nah, not really, man. I don't really want this at all. And I'm like, all right, cool. No sweat. Easy.
Best of luck to you.
Best luck, man.
Why would I want to try to fit you into something you don't want? Which is why I think a lot of business owners or sales managers fall short in their recruiting process. and why they hurt their business because of the way that they interview. They're trying so hard to be like, no, come work here, because they just want to get it done and over. I truly believe that more business owners are making this mistake than they realize, and it is hurting their business more than they realize. They're just trying to get the recruiting process over with. It is a task to them to just check off, as opposed to, who am I onboarding to this culture? Who are we putting in the boat? Who are we putting on the bus? Whatever you want to say. And if they would realize this moment where I'm actually, the words that I say on LinkedIn, Indeed, the posts that I'm making, the words that I say in the email correspondence, everything matters. I promise you, you will set your business up for more success if you just take the recruiting process a lot more serious.
Yeah, and a huge mistake they make is they try to sell people on the opportunity, which is why I asked that question at the end, because in that first part of the process, I want people to be drawn to work with us instead of me trying to close you on working. Now, it might be a little bit different when you're doing like traditional headhunting and you're going out and finding a sales director or a VP of sales or a CRO, where you are doing like more headhunting and you are selling people. But for your SDR, AE, AM, closer, setter positions, I want people to be excited to come and work with us, not me trying to sell them on it.
I want to add a caveat to this. This might even push back on what you just said. I do not believe you're ever supposed to sell a job. I think you're supposed to present an opportunity for alignment. Now, you could say that's semantics. I don't believe it's semantics. I believe business owners are hurting their business because they are rushing the sales process. And you got sales pros being taught right now, make the business sell you on their job. Make them sell you. Make them, like that one guy interviewed, and he was like, no, I need you to tell me. I mean, like my book of business, my this and that. And I'm like, bro, forget your book of business. This is not a one-way street. As much as it's not about me sitting back as a director of sales or VP of sales, right? And I'm sitting back and being like, sell me, dear sales pro. Tell me why I should give you this opportunity. I'm not doing that to you, so you better as hell not be doing that back to me. This is a joint effort, meaning this has to be good for you and for us. Not that we're both going to get exactly what we want, but there has to be alignment. That is why I love telling people. This is a question I asked. I don't even know if you know this. I asked this question. It's the same way. It's just a different version. I said, do you feel with everything that I've presented to you that there is alignment both for you and for us if you were to come work and we were to partner together? Mm-hmm. And I love it when they're like, honestly, yeah. And I'll be great. Can you tell me why? Because now I want to hear from the prospect. Why do you believe this is good for you? And also, why do you believe this is good for the business? Because if we're out of alignment, guess what I'm going to have? Disgruntled, mad, upset. I'm going to have somebody not willing to hit KPIs. I'm going to have somebody not willing to show up. I'm going to have somebody not participating in team meetings. I'm going to have somebody that doesn't show up to the company events or the get-togethers because they're going to be like, It's like, yo, this is a culture. I will see the employees more than sometimes they even see their own families. It's just how work is set up, right? Where do you spend most of your time? It's probably a huge reason why we homeschool, because I didn't want my kids at school all day long. I wanted to make sure that we actually saw them from the time that they were born to 18, right? Not that obviously we'll see them after 18, but I mean, like, those are those formative years where we actually get to engage and it's precious time. Why do I want you freaking gone all day long, 5 days a week? I want to be able to see you and do life with you. And I think if business owners would say, you know what? I spend a lot of time with the people I work with. Maybe I should make sure who I'm working with, that I am creating an atmosphere where they want to be here and also that they want to be here. If we can get that alignment locked in, man, culture, you'll have everything you've ever wanted.
It's huge. So going through our process, we have the application. Oh,
I think we should stop there.
You gonna stop there?
I do, because there's some more things we need to get through to help. If we go through the whole entire process, I think If you want to know more, book a call. Have a chat with us. If you want to know more, we'll tell you. We love giving away information. But there's some things on here that I have that I really want us to go through because like I really want to hear like what are signs that you are seeing in businesses where they're rushing to hire a new sales pro?
When revenue's down, when they're being, number one sign is they're being reactive because of something. Top salesperson left, revenue's down for the month, and they feel that they have to like fill this as soon as possible. So typically it's
why do they feel that way? Speak to that.
Why do they feel that way? I mean, typically it's because of the performance of the business or the current team members, right? And they think what you have to keep in mind too is when you bring on a new salesperson, expect 90 days before they really start performing, right? So the way that you have to, when it comes to hiring, you have to be proactive. That's why, like, going back to the KPIs and everything. So like if you have your sales team checking in with you every single day and saying, here's the numbers I'm going to hit, here's what I actually hit. And if you see after a week or 2 week things trending in the wrong direction, well, then you can make a proactive decision of, hey, this person, I probably need to replace this person. I'm going to keep them on the team and let them do their thing, but I'm going to make a proactive decision knowing that their performance isn't doing great and I need to start looking. You're going to be reactive. If you're being reactive, it's almost like too late because revenue's gone down, sales team isn't performing, and so you're like, I got to get someone in fast. And the mistake that you make is the first good applicant that comes through, you end up hiring them without actually putting them through a process, which takes time, without actually giving them. We had a business owner that we worked with last year that did this. He hired so many people, man. And he would rinse and repeat, like within a week, 2 weeks, just different people because they weren't performing.
Not the legendary Jack Welch approach. Not like properly topsoiling every 30 to 60 days. It was just like, oh, hole in the boat, plug it. Hole in the boat, plug it. You know what I mean? And it's so reactionary. What I wanted to hear from you, because I know we've talked about this, you're spot on with the reactionary. They look and see like, oh, so-and-so's not doing well. Oh, we're not growing as fast as we want, right? So they react and they're just like, hurry up and do that. But what they're not realizing is that's actually causing more problems in their business. It is hurting their revenue because they're not setting that person up for success. And they are doing that because they have no process to always be recruiting. You should be interviewing when you don't need it. So that way, when you do need it, you're ready to go. You should be recruiting and constantly engaging with people. So that way you've got your pool to pull from. You have a network that you can lean into and be like, hey, about 6 months ago, I know you were looking for an opportunity. I'm just curious, where did you end up landing? Oh, I'm actually still looking right now. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for now? Right. Oh, we're growing and now we would really like to be prepared for that. We have one friend. Not just one. We only have one friend.
Yeah, there's only one friend. Josh and I are friends, and then we share a mutual friend.
We share one mutual friend.
That's all we're allowed. One friend.
Too many friends, and then all of a sudden now you got to like actually do life with people. So we just have one friend. No, we have one friend, and in their business, they're a multi-million dollar company. I mean, I think they're close. Actually, if I'm correct, they could be close to doing $1 billion real soon based off of what he told me. But anyways, 9 months is how long they give the sales pro before they have to make money. 9 months is the ramp up time. They do not expect anything from that sales pro for 9 months. Just do your job. Just dial the phone. Hit your KPIs. I don't care about anything else. Just hit your KPIs. It will take you 9 months to build that book of business. Now, these sales pros, they're making great money. I mean, they're like $200K a year is like basic for them. You got guys that can make $400,000, $500,000. You have sales pros who can make really good money. And it's because They have great onboarding. They have great recruiting process. They make sure to the best of their ability, no one's just seeping through the cracks. They make sure that they're not reactionary and just like, oh, so-and-so's gone. What are we going to do? It's like, so-and-so, it's like, that would be the equivalent of a head coach thinking like quarterback goes down, gets hurt. And they're like, what are we going to do the rest of the game? It's like, put the second quarterback in, the guy that's been running, the practice squad, the guy that's been running reps for your number 1D, right? Like put him in. That's what's going to happen. That's why you have that. And if he gets hurt, guess what? You have a third string quarterback. The likelihood of 3 getting hurt in one game is just not that likely, right? And then guess what? When the game's over, guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to the free agency market if we lost 2, and we're going to backfill those spots. There's a process and a structure in place to set you up to win, not react.
Yeah, I think what's really important with what you said is that company, the individual we're talking about, is they have such a dialed in like process and system for training people. Is their trust is not contingent on the salesperson. Their trust is in the systems and the processes that they built, right? Because they know if so-and-so, we do good on the hiring, we bring someone in, within 9 months, we know they'll be performing, not because of who that person is, but because of the processes and systems that we built for that person to go through. So if they execute on that, we know they're going to be fine.
Which also means they have a process and a system to be able to pay for those 9 months before it actually yields them a return, which means that you're even that much more organized. I have a question I want to ask you. I wrote this down because I think you see this a lot. What are signs that a team member is not a good fit and needs to be let go? Because there are business owners out there right now that are just like, how do I know when it's time to let that team member go? Well, that team member's been with me for since the beginning. I don't want to just let them go. They're kind of like family. So how do you know when it's time to let someone go?
Good question. So glad that you asked that. I think you can look at 2 things. Intangibles and tangibles. Tangibles would be the actual numbers, which is what we've already talked about, right? Did we set projections? Are they hitting those projections? That's easy, right? And sometimes you'll have someone who's a good salesperson that is not hitting those numbers, and they're going through a rut. Something happened in their life. Like you want them on the team. You just got to get them out of that. Second piece of it is intangibles, which would be how they are showing up, their attitude, how they are culturally affecting the team. There's a team that we're working with right now, and was leading the sales meeting yesterday. We were going through projections. Hey guys, what are you going to project? I'm going to project this many closed deals, this many completed consults, so on. And then I get to this one rep, and I ask him, what are you projecting? And he's like, for the week, I'm projecting 5 closed deals. I'm at 0. So, okay, that's a tangible metric, right? He says he's going to do 5. It's a Thursday. He's at 0. That's not a good sign. The second piece of it is the intangibles is his attitude and how he responded. I asked, how many deals are you going to close today? I'm going to close 1. Okay, cool. And the one deal that you're projecting today, because you're at 0 for the week, where's that deal going to come from? Hope and a dream? That to me is an immediate red flag, right? So first of all, the tangibles is the numbers. Numbers aren't going in the direction that we want. Secondly is the intangible, which is how he's feeling, how he's responding to things. Do we want someone on the team that says, hey, I'm going to project 1 deal today? And I ask him, where's that deal going to come from? You know what? Honestly, Jake, I don't have a whole lot lined up, but I know what I need to do. I'm going to make 150 dials today. I've built out a list of people that I'm going to dial through, and I've got a handful of people in my pipeline. So I will find 1 deal today. It's like, okay, cool. That's a good response. I pray to God I get a deal. Yeah, hope and a prayer. That is one of the worst responses you can give me.
So when you get that response, because there are business owners who are getting that response right now, and they do not know what to do next when they get that response. I think it is very key or very important to key in on, is that the first time you've heard it? Is this a pattern of hearing these responses? Is the pattern longer than 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Dear God, please don't let it be longer than 90 days. If it's longer than 90 days, you have a very big culture problem, and you as a leader are struggling because you do not have a system in place to help your team members get to where they need to be. Most likely, you're not meeting with your team members once a week, doing touch bases with them and figuring out where they're at personally and professionally. So you have no pulse on your team whatsoever. So when you get that response in a sales team meeting, especially when there's other people, you don't know what to do. That's trying to bring down the culture. Mm-hmm. It's bringing down the temperature of
morale,
the room, the morale, everything. And it's like, you need to get your crap together as a business owner. And it's like, that's why we do what we do, is because they don't actually know. I say, get your crap together. You know how you get your crap together? You hire us. Because most likely you haven't been taught how to do that, which is why we're teaching business owners now. Okay, so let's put a system in place that actually allows you to get your crap together, as I'm using, so just flippantly. Okay, what does that actually look like? Okay, well, you hear that. What's the next thing you do? You have a meeting with that team member. Hey, help me understand what's going on. It seemed like today that maybe you're down, something's off. Can you tell me what's going on? What if there's nothing wrong with that sales pro? This isn't like an ongoing pattern. That's just something's off. They are out of character right now. They are not responding. Well, if you don't have a meeting with them, then you can't figure out like, oh, there's some, junk going on at home, or something has gotten, and you can't catch it before it actually becomes a rut. Right. If you're a business owner or a sales manager, if you would realize you actually have control and power to catch ruts before they happen, and you can help serve your prospect so they don't spin out of control, you'd be surprised how much money you would actually increase in the business just by keeping your salespeople out of ruts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that person, you want to meet with them, like you said, see if what's going on. And if it is this particular individual, this is just his attitude. This is a new sales team that we've taken over, and he has probably one of the worst attitudes I've ever seen. And he's been on the team. Here's the other thing. He's been on the team for a while. I think he's been on the team like 3 or 4 years. So what that tells me is the culture as a whole needs to be shifted. And we've seen that before. Sometimes one of the companies, completely different business that we're working with right now, is we've actually had to slow down in order to speed up with them. We've been working with this client. Most of our clients stay with us well over 12 to like 18 months. And this client, we've had to replace their entire sales team. Not all at once. It's been like a slow process. But there was a shocker. There was a dip in revenue for a couple months as we were ramping up new people and replacing old people.
Whoa. You're telling me that when you're establishing a new culture, a new way of doing things that are going to be healthier, it might not immediately.
Yeah, and you might see a small... The business wasn't going to go bankrupt or anything, okay. But there was a little bit of a dip in revenue. And I think a lot of people like to advertise like, oh, it's just grow. And a lot of times that is the case, and that feels great. But sometimes when you're doing a complete reset and you got to take a few steps back, you got to slow down so you can speed up. And now the last like 2 months, I mean, we're absolutely crushing it. We're on track this month to have a record month for the company, but it's because we did the right work. We get the right people off and the right people on 3-4 months ago, and we're seeing the fruit of that. But making that decision, it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good.
And it's funny too, because we have another business that we brought on. They were doing fair average, and they had one sales rep, and then the owner was closing, and that sales rep probably never did more than 2 deals a month. And after about 30 days of working with us, that sales rep's on pace to do 7 in his first month. Now these are longer sales cycle, larger deals, so to some people they're like, dude, I did 22 deals. It's like, yeah, but you're selling a $2,000 offer. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per deal here. And now he's on pace to do 7. And we actually haven't done a ton other than just set healthy parameters. And we want to do a lot. Like we're ready to like boom, 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 because that's our nature. But we're realizing what are the small little incremental steps that we can take right now that will empower this individual and this team so that they can grow. So that way, when we have to make something more drastic or something more incremental, it's not shifting the whole entire, foundation that quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dude, this is a great episode. I feel like this is
I like the fact that we decided to hold our mics. This gives me something to do with my hands.
This will be the last time I hold this mic.
You hated it the whole time.
I hated it the whole entire time.
I loved it.
This mic is like 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Here, fill this.
Holy crap, man.
I know, yeah.
Heavy.
I'd hold this all day long, you little wimpy arms.
What the heck is in that?
Pure gold.
Yeah.
Sales gold is what it is. This is a great show. If you're a business owner or a sales manager and you would like some more thoughts, more information, literally book a call with us. We will tell you anything that you want to hear. If we can work with you, awesome. We'll explain that. If not, and you just want some advice, Jake and I always are willing. You can hit us up in our DMs, or you can literally just hop on our website, salesleague.com, book a call. We will actually just chat with you and give away our information, because the reality is I don't ever want to try to charge for information. What I want to do is properly, be compensated for implementation. But we'll give you information all day long. And if you want to go and use it, amazing. We just want to see people win. So however we can do that, I hope this was helpful and valuable to you. But until next time, stay sharp.